What's going on, everybody? So this video is going to be a little bit different. I'm not doing the Matthew 18 right now. I will make a video with Matthew 18 following after this. I wanted to share something with you guys that I learned yesterday. So apparently a lot of the translations, like the NLT that I'm reading to you guys, for whatever reasons unknown to me, have left out certain verses in the Bible. So I'm gonna read to you which verses it is according to what I've been doing research this morning for probably like an hour and a half, 2 hours. When I found out last night, this morning I woke up, started looking into it, and I'm kind of gonna go over what I've discovered, right? So the verses that were taken out in the book of Matthew, chapter 17, verse 21. Chapter 18, verse 11, chapter 23, verse 14, in the book of Mark, chapter 7, verse 16, chapter 9, verse 44, chapter 9, verse 46, chapter 11, verse 26, chapter 15, verse 28, in the book of Luke, chapter 17, verse 36, in the book of John, chapter 5, verse 4, in the book of Acts, chapter 8, verse 37, chapter 15, verse 34, chapter 24, verse 7, chapter 28, verse 29, in the book of Romans 16, chapter 16, verse 24, in the book of 1 John, chapter 5, verse 7. So, we're going to go back over 17 real quick, and I'm going to read that to you. And at first, when I heard this, I didn't really believe it, so I had to go check for myself, and yep, there it is. As you can see, maybe it goes from 20 straight to 22. 21 is not even in there. Gosh darn it, keep on losing my bookmark here. So we're gonna go back over that. And yeah, from now on, so I have the Geneva Bible here as well, which is the 1560 edition. This was written before the King James Version. I'll kind of go a little bit into the history of this. And so far, NLT is not the only translation, apparently, that has taken those verses out. It's many different translations for whatever reasons. Not only did they take them out, they also changed some wordage that some scholars think is very important, and kind of changed it out, took those specific words out, replaced them with something else. And like I said, it's not just in this book, it's also in the NIV, which is one of the top sellers of Bibles right now, right? We have the ESV, English Standard Version, the New King James Version, and I believe there's several others that were listed. However, so the reason why I'm reading to you guys from the NLT, which is the New Living Translation, it is the simplest one to read. They rewrote it that way, so it's at a 12-year-old reading level. So it's for people that don't necessarily understand the Bible. They don't have the Bible, or when they read it, they don't understand it. So that's why I'm reading this, and I'm kind of breaking down as I read, right? It's for those people. It's for people that don't have a Bible. It's for people that maybe the Bible is illegal in their country and they don't have one in their home. So the only way for them to know anything about it is either through other people, or through, hopefully, my videos are reaching some of those people that are able to speak English, obviously. Yeah, that is the main purpose. This is like introduction. It's very simple to read, simple to understand. So hopefully this is actually helping you guys. However, from this point on, I'm gonna start going through the chapters here and through the Geneva Bible, right? So Geneva Bible, the guys that were writing it were getting persecuted. So the first person that tried to rewrite the Bible straight from the Hebrew and from the Greek translation, Hebrew for the Old Testament, Greek for the New Testament, according to the stuff that I learned today. Again, I might be off on some of the stuff, but back in like the 1300s, because he was trying to rewrite it, he rewrote the entirety of the New Testament and then part of the Old Testament, before he got burnt at the stake, right? So in the 1500s, the people that were trying to rewrite this had to flee from England to Geneva because they were getting persecuted for trying to rewrite it in the exact translation, right? So what they were trying to do is get this Bible. So this Bible, like I said, is translated Old Testament's from the Hebrew, the New Testament is from the Greek. Again, that's from my research. So the reason they were trying to do that is to get people in all the households to be able to have their own Bible that is easier for that time to read, because I try to read this right now, I stumble over every other word, right? For them to be able to read and to learn and stuff like that, because back in the 1500s, what they had to do is the only people that had the Bibles were the priest, was the queen, or the king, right? And some very select few nobles. So the people, the common people, had to go to the church, they had to listen to the pastor talk and give his interpretation of it, and usually it was written in a very floral, very high level type of language to where a lot of people still had a hard time understanding it. So that's why the Geneva Bible was written. King James then later, it was, 51 years later after this, that they finished the King James Version. He didn't like the fact that it had some notes on the sides. He didn't like several other things. He also didn't like that these translators didn't necessarily follow the Bishop's Bible, which was the Bible used prior to this, and the fact that they were kind of going somewhat against the king and the rulers and stuff like that, right? So he banned this Bible entirely. Nobody was allowed to have it, and then made the King James Version Bible. Anyways, so from now on, when I read, I'm going to read through this first, through the New Living Translation, and then I'm also going to simultaneously read the Geneva Bible to make sure that this lines up. And once I kind of correct the kinks and stuff like that, make sure that this is all good to go, then I'll make the video and I will make my explanations then. So for right now, since we just did chapter 17 yesterday, and I think this is a very important passage in here, right? So I'm going to read through a couple of verses back to 21 and then a couple of verses past. So let's start from verse 14 in Matthew chapter 17. So this is where Jesus heals the demon-possessed boy, right? So I'm going to start with Matthew chapter 14, or Matthew chapter 17, verse 14. When they arrived at the foot of the mountain, a huge crowd was waiting for them. A man came and knelt before Jesus and said, "Lord, have mercy on my son, because he has seizures and suffers terribly. He often falls into the fire or into the water. So I brought him to your disciples, but they couldn't heal him." Jesus replied, "You stubborn, faithless people, how long must I be with you until you believe? How long must I put up with you? Bring the boy to me." Then Jesus rebuked the demon in the boy, and it left him. From that moment on, the boy was well. After, the disciples asked Jesus privately, "Why couldn't we cast out the demon?" He said, "You don't have enough faith," Jesus told them. "I assure you, even if you had faith as small as a mustard seed, you could say to this mountain, 'Move from here to there,' and it would move. Nothing would be impossible." So that's verse 20. All right, so here I'm going to read back to 20 and then the verse 21 that's missing. And Jesus said unto them, "Because of your unbelief, for verily I say unto you, if ye have faith as much as is a grain of mustard seed, ye shall say unto this mountain, Remove hence to yonder place, and it shall remove, and nothing shall be impossible unto you." So a lot of the S's in here looks like F's, which is interesting. Took me a while to get over. Anyways, this is verse 21. "Howbeit this kind goes not out, but by prayer and fasting." Again, "Howbeit this kind goeth not out, but by prayer and fasting." What he's saying here, this kind of the demon that was possessing the boy does not go out, but by prayer and fasting, right? So that's the verse that they removed. which is very interesting to me. Why would they do that? We talked about earlier how Jesus said, right, that it's not if you want to fast. It's not if you feel like fasting. It says when you fast. It's a command that he's saying, you will do this, right? It is important for you to do this. You will fast when you fast. So here it says that this type of demon does not go out unless you're in prayer and fasting, right? Which I don't understand why they would take that out, but for whatever reason they decide to. Anyways, so, and then following after that, one day after they had returned to the Galilee, Jesus told them, the Son of Man is going to be betrayed. He will be killed, but 3 days later he will be raised from the dead. And the disciples' hearts were filled with grief. So that's chapter 21. In chapter 18, there's also going to be a verse that's missing. I will be reading it from here and kind of explaining it. But yeah, my apologies, you guys. Like I said, I just found this out last night. So from here on forward, I promise I will do my best to do my due diligence and make sure that I read the 1560 version and then the New Living Translation version, and I will kind of compare them to make sure that the message is the same, right? The verbiage is different, obviously, the writing is different, but as long as the same message persists. But yeah, that's the end of this video. Sorry, kind of a little bit longer, but I feel like I owed it to you guys to explain. Anyways, God bless you all. I love you, and I hope I see you in chapter 18.